You have had a lot of injuries, like a lot of bull riders. It's just part of the game, right? I was thinking a few minutes ago that maybe you let your ribs break, so take your mind off your knees. But give us a little bit of a rundown of some of the things you've been through physically.
Well, let's go. I know what I've been in the last 2 years. So,
goodness.
Last June, I broke my leg. I broke my right leg, had plates, had a plate and 7 screws put in my right leg. And they said it would be 3 months before I could put weight on it. And I started riding bulls. I had the opportunity to get invited to Calgary, Alberta, which is one of our biggest rodeos of the year. And it's an invitation-only rodeo. And so they only take 22 guys. And I cut my cast off when I was in Calgary, Alberta. So that I could ride. I still wasn't putting weight on it yet. I had a deal called iWalk, which is it looks like a pirate leg, but it was a really handy deal where I didn't put any pressure on my foot and I could walk around. And then when it came time to ride, I strapped my boot on and got on bulls. And then as soon as I was done, I was back on crutches. And then so that went by, and then in September, I have 8 anchors in both shoulders, holding my shoulders in from previously shoulder surgeries, and I had a hit on my elbow at Ellensburg, and it popped my shoulder out. And in the process, I had already had 2 rotator cuffs torn in my left arm, and in the process, the bicep tendon, the long head bicep tendon, had slipped underneath the 2 rotator cuffs over the head of the humerus, which is the ball that goes up in the socket, and why it was out. And when it flipped over the head of the humerus, it popped back into socket. So my long head bicep was stuck actually on the back side of my shoulder over here without tearing. And so it was like a rubber band that was at full capacity. And so I could only move my arm about 6 inches to the front and 6 inches up. And then it would get stuck. And so I finished off the last part of the season with that.
And that's your rope arm, right? That
was my free arm. That's what I used to balance with.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And when I did that, I went down to see a doctor who works on all the professional cowboys, and it was something that he had never seen, nor the radiologist had ever seen. And so his guess was to just go in and cut the long head bicep tendon, because the NFR, our National Finals Rodeos, was 35 days away. So I had surgery. He went in, he cleaned up a couple spots in my rotator cuffs, and then he snipped my long head bicep. And then we got on the back into therapy and started building my bicep tendon. So I had that torn bicep look where it was pop-eyed down at the bottom. And I was able to compete 35 days later. And then this year in May, I ended up tearing my right bicep, because I had at the finals, bull jumped in the chute and my shoulder had slipped a little bit, and for something was catching. And eventually this year I ended up tearing my right bicep, and so that kept me out for a month. And then after 3 weeks, it did that same deal. It was pop-eyed out. And after about 3 weeks, I was able to come back and ride and be okay. And then what else did I do? Oh, then I broke my ribs. Then I broke the 6 ribs, punctured the lung. That's what I've been through in the last 2 years.
Goodness gracious.
I've had both shoulders redone. I've had my knee scoped and worked on.
I think the NFL players should probably learn something from you, right? I mean,
they're a bunch of wimps compared to bullfighters.
Yeah, but for me, for some reason, I always ride better when I'm hurt. Because the adrenaline of what I do gets me going. I love to compete. I love to be competitive in what I do. I love the challenge. I love the adrenaline of competing against something that's not supposed to happen. And so when I get hurt, that just even puts me at more of a disadvantage. And I don't know. It just it actually fires me up, because I don't know. I feel like I'm doing something that I shouldn't be, and that's what is with the sport. Is the whole reason the sport started was somebody said you couldn't do that, and they said, "Oh yeah, watch me."
So I guess if you're going to violate doctor's orders, you better make something come of it, right?
I don't say I violate doctor's orders. I say I have an educated guess about my body that I'm the only one qualified to know what it's capable of.